It is Friday, the 29th day of October, 2021. Day late, hundreds and hundreds of dollars short. Behind because of something called a bomb cyclone that wreaked havoc here in the Northeast. It's not a bomb cyclone, but rather a bomb cyclone. You see what I'm saying? At any rate, down trees, down power lines everywhere. Electricity was out for roughly 12 hours or so on Wednesday, which made for a wasted day for the most part, but what can you do? Surrounding towns from here, 100% outages. I have friends in town that are still without power. Just awful. 90-mile-an-hour wind gusts in some parts of Massachusetts, especially out on the Cape and the islands. Why am I giving weather reports, old weather reports for that matter, during a podcast? See, I'm terrible at this. Another victim of the bomb cyclone was my plastic, poorly constructed Wayfair shed. Now, this is not a knock on Wayfair. They just, it's a knock on who they choose to do work with, which is, any company with a, pulse and an email address. I had stupidly hoped that this thing would weather any sort of weather, but it did not. It failed miserably. The bigger problem here is that I'm a mechanical numbskull and horrifically impatient. So putting anything together properly is just something that your host cannot do. It's just, and I say that thinking full well that I probably could if I simply followed directions and not been an impatient mechanical numbskull. So with this thing, though, I probably would have been better off taking the money and using it to line the cat's litter box, but equally as useful in the end. So on to the next, I suppose. All that and literally way too much more on episode number 96, the 1996 episode. Yes, the mid-90s, time of carefree foolishness and fun. Grunge, gangster rap, TRL, Seinfeld, Doritos 3Ds, actual malls, calling landlines to talk to people, video stores, record stores, OJ killing people, Captain Planet, Zach Morris, your Discman on the bus, Jenko jeans, Red Dog, Zima, 2 burgers, fries, and a drink at Wendy's for $4.16, and literally so much more. This year marks the 25th anniversary, I guess, of my graduating from high school. Shout out to the Bridgewater Rainham Trojans. What up? Class of 96. I'm not super prone to nostalgia, but it's fun to look back and reminisce on occasion at dumb things. Dumb things, which is pretty much everything that I listed there. So here's to the 90s, the absolute best time, the absolute best decade in the history of man. Look it up. It's true. That's all right here, right now, on Complaints and Observations.
Still, the most less than average podcast on the internet, with a host who's the smartest person in the room when he's the only one there. A continuing odyssey into mediocrity, guaranteed to make you question your life choices and your own sanity. This is Complaints and Observations with Dave LaPointe.
Who the hell is Dave LaPointe?
Thank you as always, Ken. Greatly appreciated. So yeah, a day late with the recording here. I know that nobody really gives a shit. So what does it matter? It doesn't. I just like to be prompt. I like to be consistent, I guess is the best way to put it. So as I said in the open, way too much on my docket today. And as usual, none of it of any import. Just a lot of shit that that came up, and I said, "Ooh, that's interesting," and I might want to write that down. I wrote it down. A couple of interesting things right off the top. Okay, this is going to be more of a. I know I've done all gripes, oops, all gripes before. This could be oops, all observations, because sure, I mean, complaining and observing kind of go hand in hand on this program. So, but I think these are more observational points than anything else. Right off the top, okay? What is. I almost did it. I was like, what is the deal? Why is it that companies love to say, it's not just companies, it's, corporations, companies, any sort of business or public, maybe not public figures, but let's just stick to corporations and businesses and whatnot. Why do they always use the term our top priority for when it comes to like safety or quality or anything like that? When anybody with any sort of level of intelligence can figure out that whatever it is that they're claiming to be their top priority is a flat out lie. Their top priority is their shareholders' profit, and that's it. Not getting sued. That might be one. But that's it. So don't sit here and say that, my safety or your employee's safety is your top priority, because it's not. Don't lie. Stop lying. And that goes for everybody. Just stop lying. It's not worth it. Life is too short to lie all the time. But boy, that's almost as bad as like when you're in sales and you send an email that starts, "I hope this finds you well." A PR company that puts out a statement that says such and such is our top priority is fucking lazy. You're just lazy. And nobody believes it. That's the other problem. Who the fuck actually reads something like that and says, "Oh, well then. Yep, I'm sold. My safety is definitely Facebook's top priority." No, it ain't. I read that in a newsletter the other day. And I Googled like our top priority, and it's just page after page after page of press releases and public relations bullshit. It's like, good Lord, come up with a better fucking slogan or better fucking language slogan. What's the matter with you? Come up with some better language. I'm dragging ass here, aren't I? Jesus Christ. The worst shows are the ones that are off the rails 4 minutes in. 4 minutes into the show, I'm like, oh Jesus. This is terrible already, and I'm just getting started. I don't know. And you know that I'm doing nothing when I go, or you know that I'm completely fucking lost at sea. Or confused or looking at my notes. I don't have the ability to harvest silence. I can do it sometimes, but not often. uh that one was fake. So another thing that came up the other day, uh, footballer Ander Herrera plays at PSG. The story goes that he was robbed by a prostitute who just happened to get into his car at a red light. And I've read this story from multiple different sources, and I still can't fucking believe it. That more has not been made about the bullshit. Allegedly, he had his wallet and his phone in plain view, had his passenger side door unlocked, and was driving through a part of Paris that's notorious for prostituting. Like, I don't even think that's a word, prostituting. I don't know. But the story goes is that the prostitute got into the car to try to steal the wallet and the phone. And this is where there's a gap, because there's no background into what happened after she got into the vehicle. My guess is a blowjob, but not according to the news. Nope, that part has been glossed over. Allegedly, he got the phone back. The phone? Yeah, he got the phone back, but didn't get the wallet back. Inside the wallet, exactly €200, which I'm going to guess is the price of a blowjob in the prostituting area of Paris, France. Fucking dudes. Like, dudes, what are you doing? Of all the things, you know you're going to get in trouble. You're going to get caught, especially if you're a high-profile athlete. Like, I don't know. There has to be better, more discreet ways for that to go. I don't have that problem. Never will. And quite frankly, I'm pretty happy that I'll never have that problem. Which is, I'm absurdly rich, very well known, and driving a nice car in a prostituting part of Paris, France. Odd. And that's not one of those, good problems to have. It ain't. It ain't. If you are so desperate as a multi-millionaire, like Mr. Herrera is, so desperate to get your rocks off that you have to pay someone to do it, you should probably pay more than $200. Just throwing it out there, because that could probably come back and bite you in the ass. So, an arrangement that's, a couple grand, that one might get, be ignored. No one may ever know that one. Who knows? But it's weird. The dick makes dudes do some strange shit. That could be like that's the male motto. The dick makes dudes do strange shit. Be a hell of a t-shirt. So it's, kind of old news at this point, but the 600th touchdown pass for Tom Brady on Sunday. His idiot receiver, Mike Evans, gave the ball away. It became a big to-do about, Evans finally realizing that it was actually, number 600 for old Tom. And he's like, oh shit, I gave the ball away. Well, they tracked the guy down. The guy happened to be very nice, very, very nice fan. Agreed to give the ball back, and the Bucks agreed to, to compensate quote unquote, compensate him. He received two signed jerseys plus a helmet from Brady. A signed Mike Evans jersey plus the cleats that Evans wore in the game. I don't understand the game-worn cleat thing. What are you supposed to fucking do with those? Yeah, those are the cleats that Mike Evans wore. You're gonna like put them on your fucking bookcase, dude? All right, whatever. A $1,000 gift card to the Buccaneers team store. That's terrific. Buck season tickets for the remainder of this season and all of next. And then Tom Brady actually threw in 1 Bitcoin as well. I have a bunch of issues with this, all right? And it's not necessarily from the fan, okay? Big ups to this gentleman who was kind enough to give it back to him. Which, in reality, I would assume that most people would probably give the ball back at that point, right? But, it was done in such a quick fashion that the guy didn't have any real time to sort of assess the situation, which was that he was now in possession of a fairly high-priced item. And I say fairly because the numbers being thrown around are kind of subjective. Just like art. Just like art, sports memorabilia, subjective. It's all about what someone's willing to pay. There are a lot of sports-related items that have sold over the years for astronomical sums of money. And this one probably would have been fairly popular given the fact that Tom Brady is fairly popular. So this guy had in his hands, let's be conservative, okay? And let's say that he could have sold that football for $100,000 to a collector. $100,000. That's not retail. That is, what a collector or a broker even would spend to get that ball and then put it up for auction or flip it to somebody else to make a profit. So let's just say conservatively $100,000. Now, obviously there would be some tax implications there and whatnot, so he probably wouldn't actually get $100,000. But if you look at it just with that number, what he received is pretty comparable, except, it's all in the eye of the beholder, okay? Like the signed jersey, all right, that's cool. The signed helmet, okay, that's cool. But I mean, everything else, Buck season tickets, how much what do those cost? $60 a seat? Get the fuck out of here with that shit. Come on now. The Bucks should have given him season tickets for the next 10 years. Would have cost you literally nothing. If you put him in like the middle of the building, don't give him like primo seats. He was sitting in the end zone for fuck's sake. But give him a little bit better seats. It would have cost you $80 a game. Stop. $1,000 to the Buccaneers team store. How many fucking t-shirts can a guy buy? It's like, oh man, I just spent another $50 at the team store. Yeah, I got the new hat. Oh, I only have 18 hats now. Fuck. What am I gonna do when this gift card runs out? But the Bitcoin thing is what kind of frosts my balls. All right. If you've been paying any attention at all, Tom Brady has been slinging a cryptocurrency exchange company for a little while now. So my assumption is that this company is the one that's actually giving this guy the Bitcoin and not Tom Brady himself. Just pure speculation. But Tom Brady, being the consummate marketer, saw an opportunity, or his people saw an opportunity and said, oh, we can use this to tie into the FTX sponsorship that we have. and I'm sure there'll be more of this made at some point. Considering there's no actual physical exchange of a Bitcoin, they're going to have to come up with something. And it wouldn't shock me if this kid is like in a commercial or something at some point, because clearly he'll just do anything that Tom Brady asks him to do. But the thing is, he could have probably done better had he held on to that ball. Let's say he holds on to the ball, takes it home, spends 5 minutes on Twitter, and sees all of these people in reasonable professions that do this type of thing, saying, especially one guy, it was on a Sportico article, and the guy said, I could call 2 people right now and get $500,000 for that ball. I don't think he's telling the truth, but whatever. Let's cut that in half. Now it's $250,000. That's life-changing money for a lot of people, myself included. $250,000 right from the jump. Like that's unbelievable. And for a football that he just happened to be handed by accident. But the media is saying, "Oh, it's a pretty generous offer." Not really. I don't see the benefit in Mike Evans' memorabilia. He probably won't even be on the team next year. So what the fuck's the point? The Bucks kind of cheaped out on the season tickets. I'd be kind of pissed. I'd be like, wait, you only giving me 1 season plus 3 games here? Like, what's going on, Bucks? Do better. But whatever. It's a toilet bowl of a franchise to begin with. So, and Tom Brady is way too good for that franchise. Way too good. Way too good for the city. Hey, do you think Tom Brady's ever set foot in Mons Venus, the world's most famous gentleman's club? I mean, it's right near where he plays his games. I wonder if he's ever been there. Be nice if somebody asked him that question. Hey, Tom, what do you think of Mons Venus? I'd love to hear his answer, because he gets all flustered. Oh, I've never been there. I have no idea. What are you talking about? And then it's a giggle, giggle, chuckle, chuckle, and everybody forgets. And then somebody finally catches on and says, what the fuck? Tom Brady spends a ton of time at Mons Venus. Dun, dun, dun. Not really. That probably wouldn't happen. But he would probably be awkward as fuck. He would be awkward as hell. Wouldn't he? Oh, he absolutely would be. Because it's a 2-drink minimum, I believe. Tom Brady with 2 drinks. Whew. Apparently he had 4 drinks on the boat parade there. And he was legless. Football stadiums are a weird place. My brother made a good point on Sunday at the Jets game that Gillette is full of storytellers. And I hadn't really thought of it. But then once he said that, I was like, oh, that kind of makes sense. You're in a place where, it's not super expensive to get in reality. It's not life-changing money to get into Gillette Stadium, but it seems that a lot of people that do go in there feel the need to boost their bona fides, if you will, no matter what. So Sunday, we happened to be standing in the standing room section. We didn't go up to our seats because we just didn't want to hire a Sherpa to get up there. But the place was half empty. It was actually quite pleasant compared to the previous 2 games where it was like fucking Thunderdome. And so we're standing there, and all of a sudden this guy sidles up to my right. And he's drinking. He just starts talking because he's shit-faced. But he just starts talking. And he starts talking about how his dad, which is just a real pathetic way to start a story. Well, my dad has this. It's like, okay, buddy. He's pointing out his dad's season tickets in the 100s, but he also has four seats in section 316. And he goes, you know what the worst part is? It's row 17. I'm like, oh well. I'm up in row 20, so you can go fuck off. But and then he proceeds to tell stories about how, oh, well, I paid the first time I ever went here, I paid $4,500 for the whole season in the 200s in the red seats. I'm like, oh, fuck off. I have a bunch of car dealerships, so I just bring clients. Oh, fucking A. But then I would, sometimes pay like $1,500 for an extra seat. Oh, Jesus Christ. Here we go. This went on for a solid 20 minutes, maybe even longer. It's like, it's just odd when you're in that sort of setting and everyone's shit-faced that so many people love to fucking tell stories. Because you can't, my mother calls them 5-minute friends, okay? So this guy's a 5-minute friend, and you cannot verify anything that's coming out of his mouth, nor do you really care. It makes good fodder for shitty podcasts. But boy, oh boy, was that odd. And I never really thought of it. And then I started thinking about all the times I've just kind of run into random people there. And it's a very similar experience where they just love to talk about something other than the football game. Like, buddy, I'm here to try to watch the game. I care about watching the game. If you want to talk about that, have at it. That's fine. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I just attract fucking weird people. That could be it. I don't know. You would think I would have more listeners if I could attract weird people, but nope, not the case. Wah, wah. That's 2 musical sound effects in one segment. Oh, boy. Not good. So, if you bother to listen through the entirety of the program, you know that at some point I always say fuck Facebook. For a variety of reasons, but first and foremost is that, Facebook has turned into a bastion of misinformation and misleading bullshit, and the kind of place that just is not something that I want to spend my time in anymore. And look, it's not just me; it's others, but there are a lot of people that still use it quite a bit. And that's the way it is. It's well within your rights is not the right word, but if that's what you want to do, if that's how you want to spend your time, that's fine. I don't begrudge you for it. But as I'm sure you've heard, there was a big reveal last week of the woman who leaked a handful of internal documents that have been dubbed the Facebook papers by very, very clever media outlets. And it kind of led me to think to a very a way too deep and heavy question for a stupid fucking show like this. But why is fear so effective in modern society, and not just in modern media and or modern politics, but as in society as a whole? So obviously, those two things are key players in the whole thing. But I would say that currently sex always sells, all right? But it's a distant second to fear. Because once you make someone afraid of something, they're going to perseverate and think about that constantly. It's how fear works. It's how the brain works. It's if you think back to, listen to me, if you think back to ancient times, you think back to, evolution as humans evolved over time. They began to learn to stay away from certain things. So, for example, the hungry lion that was chasing somebody through the desert or something. I don't know, some fucking you get my point. You evolve, you become fearful of things, and that fear is very, very powerful. So let's say you're walking through the woods and you know that this particular plot of land is inhabited by a poisonous snake. That poisonous snake is always going to be on your mind, in most people's mind. It's going to play a big part in how you navigate through that particular forest or jungle or whatever. You see what I'm saying? I hope you see what I'm saying. If you don't, well, fuck, I'm screwed. But it's that fear that you perseverate on and think about the whole time. It's not so much, the next step in front of you. It's the fear about what's around the corner or what's, at the end of the path or something like that, which may not be anything because you don't know. That's the thing about not knowing. You don't know. Fear is all about how you react to it. And the thing with Facebook is it's taken that very primal feeling and it's monetized it in some way. So Facebook and the Facebook papers, basically the leaks essentially said that Facebook knew full well what it was doing in terms of fomenting negativity and misinformation in the sake of profit. Downplayed all kinds of warnings and red flags that came up internally of the sometimes very harmful consequences that its top secret algorithms would create. And I talked about this in brief last week or the week prior. Who knows? I lose track of these things. But it's these contributions to a fearful society that enables Facebook and basically any other outlet of information, this shit show of a program notwithstanding, to feed into that fear and give that fearful society more and more. It is the one thing that each very, very fearful person seems to need in order to survive, and that's to be afraid of everything that's around the corner. The downside with current society is that there's a growing number of charlatans who are acutely aware of this. And they're doing whatever it is to become wealthy in the process and will continue to grow and exploit their following. Now, of course, I'm as the center left, person that I am. I like to think that I am sort of cognizant of the role that this sort of plays in current modern day politics, especially in this country, more so than most countries that aren't a quote unquote democracy. But you have a lot of these fucking bad actors all over the place. And like today, Tucker Carlson comes out with this video about something that he's doing on November 1st. And it's like, what on fucking planet Earth is this guy talking about? Honestly, I watched it once. I'll never watch it again because, quite frankly, the amount of just pure bullshit that was in this video that is only meant to fucking scare the people that watch his program. There's another guy, Charlie Kirk, who's prominent on Facebook and on social media in general, and he's got a couple of podcasts and a website. He had a rally in Idaho. He was taking questions from the audience, and a gentleman stands up in a dead serious, and he made it a point to say to Charlie Kirk multiple times, "I'm serious about what I'm about to say. This is going to sound crazy, but I'm deadly serious." And in reference to the left, whoever that is, that's the thing. They don't. Anytime this comes up, there's never anything specific. It's always the liberals or the left. It's a straw man. But the gentleman says, when do we get the guns? This is tyranny. When do we get to kill these people? It's like, in what sort of civilized society would that not elicit immediate response from, I don't know, anyone else in the audience or law enforcement? Like, what are we doing? Maybe not even those two. How about a fucking psych eval? But I mean, this was the other day. This was over the weekend, I'm pretty sure, in Idaho. And you could kind of see the host of the event, Charlie Kirk, as I mentioned, just kind of recoil a little bit like, oh, fuck. Because he tried to downplay it and he tried to sort of reel this guy in, and the guy wasn't having it. Because he's already so afraid of what he has. He just doesn't know. He doesn't know what he's afraid of. He's just afraid of something. And it's that persistent fear that has gripped this guy and so many others. Just afraid of any sort of, perceived boogeyman that's thrown in front of them. And it's constantly fed where it's almost as if they don't think they could properly govern if there isn't something to be afraid of. Because there's always a fucking boogeyman. Think about it. Like, growing up was always a boogeyman. Always something. Like, the fucking Cold War was in two sides of the planet had a boogeyman. It's the fucking monster in your closet that isn't really there. And it's nonstop. It never fucking stops. And it'll never stop. But what happens on social media and the internet, Facebook specifically, is that shit that's happening on the other side of the planet or even the country that's not likely to have any sort of effect on you whatsoever is being positioned into a local problem, which is part of the problem. So I talked about CRT briefly, critical race theory, which is it's a college level a curriculum that has never been taught by any teacher or professor anywhere in the country other than in a graduate studies program or a law school somewhere at a university or college. Yet the right has taken this and has made everyone so afraid that kids are going to find out that slavery was bad. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, terrorism is a terrible thing, but the odds of it happening anywhere are unbelievably slim. And I read a great article about ISIS and how the best thing about ISIS had nothing to do with their soldiers or their weapons. It was their fucking media relations department that basically fed the planet this idea that ISIS was this unbelievable, strong, paramilitary sort of outfit that was going to destroy the planet, when it was relatively weak, low numbers, not very well financed, but they had the internet, and so they could spread any kind of fucking bullshit they wanted anywhere, and people were gonna lap it up because they needed to be afraid of something. And I think that's part of how Donald Trump got elected, is that he put all these boogeymen in front of everyday average Americans and told them to be afraid. He played into the anxiety about global threats that may or may not have existed. And his entire legitimacy was partially dependent upon many of those threats being perceived as real, making people believe that they were afraid of something that they didn't know anything about. And it's not a fixable problem. How could it be? I mean, if let's say the government acts and does something where they restrict speech on the internet or some shit, I don't know, or they shut down this uh, particular media outlet or whatever. The overreach would probably cause way more problems than it's worth. And then the providers of all this this fear mongering will never realize the error of their ways, and they'll never stop and say, "Well, Rupert Murdoch's not going to wake up one day and say, "Oh, geez, I'm terribly sorry for Fox News. Terribly sorry. I didn't mean any of that. Sorry, taking it all down. And that's it. Sorry, we're done." That'll never happen. It's going to take some single entity to cut through all the noise and try to reach people on a human level, if one still exists. And that's the problem, because bad news spreads way faster than good news, because fear is way more powerful, way more powerful. And this coming from a fucking dumb know-nothing. Like, what the fuck? What am I talking about? I don't fucking know anything, but I'd like to think that I can see through some of this bullshit and figure out what it is. Which makes me wonder why so many other people can't. And, did something happen in their life where they're generally afraid of everything? Well, maybe. It's entirely possible. I don't know. But it's depressing. And then here you have Facebook. You have Zuck. Zuck comes up. He's like, no, we this isn't us. We didn't do any of this. While these, the Facebook papers are saying otherwise. So what does Zuck do today? Zuckerberg comes out and says, we're changing the name of Facebook, the company. It's going to be called Meta. META, Meta. So moving forward, it's fuck Meta. But this fucking guy, it's like, oh, we're moving into the metaverse, which is, a dumb word for trying to make people not be social anymore, so that they can only connect virtually. And the video that he fucking put out, he is such a stiff fuck. Oh, it's brutal. Honestly, it's fucking brutal. And he's like, well, now people can meet and shop and connect. Like, how is it you're sitting in a chair with a fucking virtual reality mask on? How is that connecting? I'm telling you, Pixar fucking knew what they were doing when they put out, what was that, Wall-E? With the little fucking trash robot collecting shit on Earth, and all the people were in a spaceship, and they didn't do anything. They just sat around and stared at screens all day. Yeah, they fucking nailed it, because that's what Zuckerberg wants, because he's going to make a bunch of money, and then he can go fucking water skiing with a flag like a fucking douchebag. Don't be afraid of shit. The only boy, FDR again. He had it right too. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. It's not the actual problem. It's all in how you react to it. That's it. If you don't give it any thought, you're not going to be afraid of it. It's that simple. So take it from me, a know nothing with a shitty podcast who literally just needs something to do. This is going to feel like I'm picking on pregnant women again, but I assure you, okay, maybe this time I am. Why does every single picture of a pregnant woman have to have a hand on her belly? Whether it's hers or someone else's. Every single one. I don't get it. Okay, yes, we can tell you're pregnant. I mean, is the kid like fucking doing somersaults in there and you're concerned and that's why it's there? I don't know. I don't get it. Alec Baldwin out here killing folks, huh? Certainly not his fault, but um, the debate going around was about gun safety on movie sets, and it got me thinking: why is there anything other than blanks and a fucking gun on a movie set? And then to top it off, why would you have anyone other than someone who's I don't know, a certified expert? It's probably a dumb way to put it, but someone who's actually used to using a gun in certain situations handle a gun. It's a yeah, I don't get it. And so now you have a poor woman who's dead because apparently the person who's in charge of the gun was kind of a sloppy fuck to begin with, and a couple of years ago had been told to, cut the shit more or less. And apparently, it was some sort of lead, I guess, bullet. Really, they pulled one out of the. It was like an associate producer on set that he got it too. He didn't die, but fuck, I don't dislike Alec Baldwin. A lot of people hate his guts because he's opinionated and a lefty. But boy, you can't wish that on anybody. To fucking you got no idea what's going on with this weapon. You pull the trigger, something comes out, and it kills somebody. It's like, holy fuck. That is a mind fuck and a half. I feel bad for him. I really do. Last week, I had to go to a wake. An extended family member passed away. She was a wonderful woman. She will be missed. My dear mother attended the wake with myself and my brother. And it just so happened to be that this funeral home was the same that had a service for my dad when my father passed away. And so as we're leaving the funeral home, my mother suddenly stops on the way out and starts to talk to the funeral director and says, how much is a cremation? Naturally, the gentleman was very polite because all these guys are polite. I mean, they are 24/7 salespeople, funeral directors. They are trying to make the best impression they can all the time, every day, every minute, so that when you die, you'll be made up and put in a box by this guy. So he was super nice and very polite. But I had to ask, I said, Ma, what the fuck are you... I didn't say what the fuck. I didn't say that. I said, Ma, what on earth are you doing? Well, I just want to know. I'm like, well, okay, you could call like a normal person. Like you're at somebody else's wake and you're asking how much a cremation is. Well, I gotta be ready. I thought she had already taken care of that. Apparently, I was wrong. But good grief, what are we doing? She's good for a couple moments like that, every now and again. But what can you do? All right. Yeah. As it is, Friday, it is time for 3 gripes. Gripe number 1. Is there a question on the motorcycle license test that just asks, are you going to ride this like an asshole? Because I would venture a guess. I would say, boy, 75 to 80% love to drive like an asshole when they're on those fucking things. Full disclosure, I don't like motorcycles. I don't care for motorcycles. I don't like them. Just not my thing. All right. But I just I am so confused every time I come up on a bunch of them. And that's, to me, a bunch of motorcycles is more than one. I don't know. Maybe I'm just nervous that, they're gonna do something stupid and I'm gonna see them like with their fucking face splattered against the pavement or some shit. I don't know. Maybe that's an irrational fear that I have and that I need to get over. But I just don't understand it. Or maybe they just have an innate sense that this person in the car is a little skittish about motorcycles being around their vehicle. Maybe that's it. Or maybe they are just all assholes. I don't know. But man, is that the impression that I get? And it's entirely unfair. Entirely unfair. I am so aware of that. But man, the other day I'm driving and it was probably about 8:30 at night, and there were two of them behind me. So it's a bunch. Two of them behind me. I get up to a red light, and they're both like literally right at my bumper. I was so tempted to like pop the hatchback and open it up and say, "You boys want to get in?" Like what for what fucking reason do you need to be that close to my vehicle? For what fucking reason? There isn't one. There's literally no reason. And then it's the noise. Like, look, my hearing is shot to shit as it is. So then when I hear these fucking loud noises, it's kind of startling. But it's only a look at me thing. You don't need to fucking sit there and rev your engine when you're sitting behind somebody in traffic or when you're, across the street in your garage. It's not needed. It's fucking pointless. Why are you doing it? Yeah, it's entirely self-serving. It's entirely look at me. It's entirely a I want to be seen. But where does that come from? What is that? What is that? That's weird. It's odd. It's a very it's not selfish is not the right word, but self-centered probably where you know you're on that bike by yourself, so it's all about you. Maybe that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, but I don't like them. And so why? Ah. Gripe number 2. Why is it that when people do something shitty and they have to quit their job or resign, that they cite the need to, the desire, I should say, to spend more time with their family? I get it. It's a convenient way out. But what I need someone, I need a bulldog journalist to actually spend the time, find all these people that said that they were going to spend more time with their family, and then actually make sure that they're spending time with their family. Imagine you're a politician. You get caught in some random scandal. Who knows? Iran, Contra, Watergate, blowjobs, whatever. And you decide that, that's it, I'm out. You put out a statement. I've resigned so that I could spend more time with my family. What would that guy or girl who resigned do if someone knocked on their door? So, I'm just here to check and see how much time you're actually spending with your family. I think that would make one hell of a story. Actual journalism. Find out what's going on at home. How much more time are these people spending after they've resigned? And it's funny, a Google search of that phrase, resigned to spend more time with his family or her family, brings up all kinds of shit. Like the pitching coach from the Colorado Rockies a couple days ago, resigning to spend more time with his family. A guy who resigned recently from the Indiana State House a couple years ago, resigned to spend more time with his family. Now he's going to run for governor of Indiana. So obviously that was bullshit. The leader of the GOP in the Utah House has resigned to spend more time with his family. Need to start knocking on doors, journos, and make sure that that's what these people are actually fucking doing. Because it's a giant cop-out. Everybody knows it's a cop-out. But again, it kind of goes back to the very beginning of the show when I was like, safety is our top priority. No, it ain't. And that's not why you're really fucking resigning. You're resigning because you got caught. Just say it. What, at that point, what do you have to fucking lose? If you've done something wrong, okay, just say, look, I'm out. I got caught. See you later. That's it. Because you're probably not going to spend any more time with your family because, you know, if you've done something shitty, your wife's probably going to take the kids and beat feet and get the fuck out of there. Spend time with your family. You probably don't even fucking like your family. It's a general you. Straw man. Gripe number 3, and for probably the, I'd say, at least third time, but probably more. Parents. Apparently, Massachusetts youth hockey currently has a severe shortage of referees because, in part, of the shitty behavior of parents. You may have seen this already. You may have heard about this through the grapevine and various, local, Boston local news outlets. But somehow, not sure of this number, but this is the one that's being reported a lot, that Mass Hockey has about 900 fewer referees now than it did before COVID. 900? I don't think it's that high, but whatever. And then, of course, since the start of the season, there's already been several, quote, troubling incidents, end quote, according to Mass Hockey. One official needed a police escort after a game of 8-year-olds. A police escort from an 8-year-old's hockey game. One referee quit in the middle of a series of games because of harassment from parents. Another parent tried to get onto the ice to attack a referee. A parent went into the scorer's box to yell at an opposing player because of a penalty committed against her kid. I don't think it's just hockey per se. As a young boy, yours truly spent some time umpiring, Little League baseball. So I was probably 13, 14 years old, and I'm umpiring, games for 9, 10, 11-year-old kids. Didn't happen often where parents would be shitty, but it would happen. Not to this extent. And it makes me wonder, okay, how much longer are people going to put up with this shit before they just stop letting parents attend these games? Because what are the parents going to do? Like, not fucking have their kid play hockey? Bullshit. If the choice is, hey, your kid doesn't play or you don't watch, what's it going to be? Yeah, your ass is staying home watching over fucking Zoom or some shit. Which is what's going to happen eventually, because you're going to have some league who gets so fucking tired and fed up of this shit that in order for a fucking rando person to officiate a fucking hockey game that kids are playing, not just hockey, but any fucking sport, and probably get paid $25, $50 to deal with your shit. Like, just get over yourselves. Honestly. Let the fucking kids play and be done with it. But, oh, man. I don't know if hockey is the worst just because I don't have any sort of firsthand knowledge of that because I didn't play hockey, so I don't know. But I wonder if it's like an entitlement thing because the sport's expensive and you're constantly paying for, new equipment, ice time, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So maybe that's what it is. But it's like, at what point do we start to think that, when you see, well, I shouldn't even say that's a dumb question because it's true. When kids act out, it's probably because their parents suck. I mean, it's pretty easy. But boy, oh boy, imagine being that kid, okay, when your mother comes out onto the ice to yell at a fucking ref. Imagine being that fucking kid. Because now you've got this attached to you for the rest of your fucking life. For the rest of your life, it's gonna be, oh, remember when your mom came on the fucking ice, dude? It doesn't go away. It'll never go away. And like, does that parent give a fuck? I mean, what's the end game here? What's the goal? What's the goal of fucking Mrs. Johnson getting on the ice and going after fucking Timmy the referee? What's she gonna do if she gets to him? And then what? What is it? Does she think that he's gonna, reverse his decision because this fucking sociopath is walking out onto the ice? No fucking way. Boy, it's just like the fucking chemical buildup and chemical makeup, I should say, of your brain when you procreate obviously changes because there's literally no common sense in quite a few of you people, and I don't understand it, and I never will understand it. I don't get it. Fucking police escort for referees to leave an 8-year-old's hockey game. Come on. What the fuck are we doing? That's it for the show. This one went on long. I apologize, but I told you, I was upfront about this, that it was going to take a while. And sure enough, it took a while. Still hoping to get some voicemails. 617-657-4736. 617-657-4736. Call in. Say hi. Tell me I suck. Have a question. Have a take. Have a take and move on. Still trying to work something out as we approach episode number 100. Hashtag road to 100. It was suggested by associate producer Dave that I try to take phone calls in a live fashion. I don't know if that's possible. I mean, I'm sure it's possible, but that requires some legwork on my part, and I'm pretty fucking lazy, so I don't know. But if you have an idea, let me know. 617-657-4736. 617-65-RIP-'em. I have a Twitter page at ComplaintsPod. I have an Instagram page also at ComplaintsPod. I have a Meta page, but fuck Meta. I have a YouTube page that I haven't done anything with. I have an email address, showmail@complaintsandobservations.com. And there's a website, complaintsandobservations.com. It does have a blog on it that I've occasionally written on. Check it out. Check it out, man. Lord, I was born a traveling man. Traveling man? Ugh, Jesus, David. It was a bad joke to begin with, and then it's not even a joke. That's the Freedom Rock commercial for all you non-olds. Fuck. Oh, boy. I am so terrible at this. What am I doing? All right, that's it. Listen, tell your friends, tell your moms, please. I implore you, take care of yourself and please take care of each other. Godspeed. Ta ta.